with administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246 275375, 0240 154825 or 0244 596603 or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odenaho Kwadaso on the Kumasi Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known.
Hello? 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 Okay, so
sometimes all you need is something sweet to snack out that hunger. Something for your day-to-day something sweet for the base. Something sweet when the sun is up. Something sweet for the workers.
Grandpa, I'm here, and the name is Gary, and I have a favorite.
Gary, H&H Gary mix is creamer.
Sugar no low.
more creamer.
H&H 4-in-1 Gary Mix is more creamer and low in sugar. This advert is FDA approved.
Hear me say, let's now invite our patron or students. Patron or student,
In Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad.
Podium debating and they say something.
The biggest
all you need is something sweet to snack out that hunger. Something for your day-to-day something sweet for the base. Something sweet when the sun is up. Something sweet for the workers.
I'm here, and the name is Gary, and I have a favorite.
Gary. H&H Gary mix with creamer.
Sugar no low.
More creamer.
H&H 4-in-1 Gary Mix. It's more creamer and low in sugar. This advert is FDA approved.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246-275375, 0240-154825 or 0244-596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odenaho Kwadaso on the Kumasi Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known. That's
Okay, good to have you. Welcome back. Okay, so a few ground rules. To your right, but to my left, we have the washrooms. So just in case you want to attend to nature, use that structure there. The washrooms are available for you. Now, I'm sure when you get there, you realize that the place is very, very tight and very neat. So as much as possible, once we use the place, let's keep it as neat as possible, okay? And also, when you go to the premises or the compound, you realize that the place is also equally neat. Don't let litter on the premises.
the enviable support given to us by international partnership will be like we trying to be enemies of our own self. The enviable support given to us by international partnership will be like we trying to be enemies of our own self.
Put them on silence or put them on right. If you have a mobile phone with you, put it on silent.
The enviable support given to us by international partnership will be like we trying to be enemies of our own self.
The chair, no country is an island. Nations interdepend on each other to achieve their goals.
Please make it available to Uncle Colin to my left. KNUST, one more time, we need your school's anthem, please.
The chair, no.
If not these individual landowners,
The Love FM High School's debate.
if your argument is based on the fact that because chiefs are custodians of the land, they are solely to blame, I would like you to learn from me right here, right now, that there are lands where illegal mining is active without chiefs abound. Tonto Kombo Saso in the Manson Kwanta district of Ashanti region is one of such places where illegal mining is highly noted. Meanwhile, this community has been without an installed chief for years. So in this case, who then is to blame for the indiscriminate illegal mining activities if not these individual landowners?
The Love FM High School's debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest.
If your argument is based on the fact that because chiefs are custodians of the land, they are solely to blame, I would like you to learn from me right here, right now, that there are lands where illegal mining is active without chiefs abound. Tonto Kombo Saso in the Manson Kwanta district of Ashanti region is one of such places where illegal mining is highly noted. Meanwhile, this community has been without an installed chief for years. So in this case, who then is to blame for the indiscriminate illegal mining activities if not these individual landowners?
The Love FM High School's debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest.
If you should qualify to the next
If your argument is based on the fact that because
competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High School's debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High School's debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High School's debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High School's debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad.
You continue.
The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on
all you need is something sweet to snack out that hunger. Something for your day-to-day something sweet for the base. Something sweet when the sun is up. Something sweet for the workers.
Grandpa, I'm here, and the name is Gary, and I have a favorite.
Gary. H&H Gary mix with creamer.
Sugar no low.
More creamer.
H&H 4-in-1 Gary Mix. It's more creamer and low in sugar. This advert is FDA approved.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246 275375, 0240-154825 or 0244-596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odeneho Kwadaso on the Kumasi-Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
National interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime, 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime, 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime, 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime, 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation, Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC, and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime, 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation, Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC, and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime, 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM.
7th edition of the Love FM High Schools debate. My name is Patricia Bonsu. We are live on radio Love 99.5 FM, live on TV Joy Prime Joy Learning on your multi-TV digital box, and also live on our Facebook and YouTube channels, LUV 99.5 FM. Wherever you are, we'd like to say thank you so much for always being a part of this competition. Remember that we do this in collaboration with the Christian Service University, Joy Prime, Joy Learning, the Ashanti Regional Students Representative Council, Ghana Education Service, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools, and of course our proud sponsors. Yesterday we saw St. Louis Senior High School and Opon Memorial to the next stage of this competition, and today we are going to see contest 3 and contest 4 of the 7th edition of the preliminary stage of the Love FM High Schools debate. And contest 3 is going to be between KNUST Senior High School and Presby SHS Bompata. Now the schools are going to argue for and against the motion code. The concept of free market in Ghana should be re-examined on code. We have KNUST arguing for the motion and Presby Bompata arguing against the motion. Yesterday we had some amazing things from our supporters and our patrons. Let's have a conversation right now with our friends from KNUST and let's see what they have up their sleeve for us today on the debate. I'm going to start off with this beautiful lady here on my left from KNUST. Tell us your name and what we should expect from your school.
My name is Frances Ofui. I'm the SRC Vice President. And today, expect mind-blowing performances from our people because we have prepared so much that I don't think we are unmatched. Expect the best from them.
Okay, let me move to the teacher briefly. 30 seconds, tell us something.
My name is Gideon Sapong. I'm the coordinator for KNUST SHS. You know, KNUST is a household name when it comes to debate in the region. Currently, we are the Independent Debates Regional Champions. We are also the Ashanti First Maiden Edition Champions. We know our friends from Bompata. They are very good. But then, in the end, the better school will win.
Thank you very much. Talking of one, let's also have them right now briefly and have a conversation before we cross over to David at the auditorium. And tell me something else to sweetheart from Bompata.
Hi, my name is Lillian Nketia Siwons, the General Secretary of Presby Bompata's local WDS club, and today I'm expecting the best of the best. I know that Presby Bompata is winning for sure, and we came with full vim and energy, and we are taking the victory back home. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay, let me see what your patron also said to their debaters.
I am Mr. Doe. I am the patron for Presby Bompata, and you know we have been the custodians, one of the custodians of Love FM High School debate for the past years. Last year, something unfortunate happened to us. Went back to the drawing board, we rearranged it, and then we are here. We are here to deliver what we used to do, what we know best, and then what we are here for. Thank you.
Remember that the Hashtag is LUVFMHSD. David, if you are ready, take it away from us. Thank you very much.
Trust me, I'm more than ready. And a round of applause for yourselves for joining us here at the Christian Service University to be a part of the 2025 edition of the Love FM High School Debates. Now, for your information, this is the biggest debate platform you can ever have here in this beautiful country called Ghana. We're doing this in partnership with the Ashanti Regional SRC, with GES Ashanti, with CHAS, and of course, our hosts, the Christian Service University. Now, if you're happy to be here, why don't you put your hands together and make some noise? Thank you. We're live on television. We're on Joy Prime. We're on Joy Learning. We're on radio on Love 99.5. We're on Facebook on Love 99.5. And this is going to be contest 3 in day 2 of the 2025 edition of the Love FM High School Debate. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to, at this point in time, say a big thank you to some of our sponsors, starting with Yas Toothpaste. Now, Yas Toothpaste offers a complete oral health solution with 3 variants. They have the Yas Total Care, the Yas Whitening, and of course the Yas Herbal. It's formulated to protect against cavities, tooth decay, plaques, and of course bad breath, while also promoting a brighter smile, healthy gums, and stronger teeth for maximum protection. Use Yas Toothpaste with Yas toothbrushes available nationwide for both adults and children. Yas, caring brand for caring families. Please put your hands together for the Jackson University College. They've been with us since the inception of this debate, so please, a round of applause for the Jackson University College. Now, the Jackson Institute of Innovation and Leadership, that is JIL, in partnership with the British Council, the IELTS, and of course the IDP, offers IELTS tuition in Ghana for those aiming to work or study abroad. They provide in-person and online classes. Additionally, JIL has a study in Quebec, Canada, program for English fluent or French learning children aged between 5 and 15. They assist with documentation and offer flexible rates. Find them, that's their campus, at number 4, Jackson Street, Aidiase, near KNUST. Now, students, I'm sure that you love your Gary, especially your Gary Soakins. I love Gary Soakins. And on the market, we have the H&H 4-in-1 Gary Mix. If you're looking for a quick, tasty, and satisfying snack, H&H 4-in-1 Gary Mix is your answer. Now, this popular choice features crispy Gary, creamer, roasted granules, and sugar. Just add water, preferably, Venna, and stir. H&H also offers new additions to their Gary Soakins family. And of course, they've introduced the H&H Choco Malt Gary Soakins Energy Plus and the H&H Soya Gary Soakins. It's perfect for any time and place, and you can find these affordable H&H Gary Mix products in shops and supermarkets nationwide. The H&H 4-in-1 Gary Mix, it is a perfect mix of crunch, flavor, and of course, fun. Let me also acknowledge one of our main sponsors in EcoBank Ghana. Now, many Ghanaians are unaware of essential emergency numbers, including those for financial crisis. However, EcoBank has introduced a new money emergency number, *770#. Now, this service provides instant access to crucial financial services like loans, fund transfers, utility payments, and airtime or data purchases. Even without an internet connection, dial *770# today, and immediate financial assistance will come your way. EcoBank, it is a pan-African bank. Let me now tell you about Bonvas Tours. Now, Bonvas Tours is your go-to partner for all your travel work or study abroad, aspirations. They provide extensive services like visa assistance, hotel and flight bookings, guided tours, corporate travel, and school excursions. Bonvas Tours also offers an internship work and study abroad. With over 10 years of experience and 2,000 satisfied clients, they simply travel, documentation, and of course consultations for everyone. They can even help you find paid internships in Japan for IT students and hospitality jobs in the US, Spain, and France. Locate them near Victory Baptist Church at Aija. Bonvas Tours, the joy of tourism. And of course, our host, the Christian Service University. They are admitting students for the 2025-2026 academic year. Undergraduate and master's programs are offered at CSU with morning, evening, and weekend schedules for all students. CSU provides half scholarship to prospective students with an aggregate of 6 to 15. You can find CSU at Star Junction, Santasi. Also, you can visit csu.edu.gh, CSU Faith, Scholarship, and Integrity. Now, if you're excited to be here and you've heard these sponsors and you're happy that they're sponsoring this event, please put your hands together for these amazing sponsors. But these are not the only sponsors we have. Patricia and Lady Becca have positioned themselves amongst the students and will be sharing with us some more sponsors. Let me start off with Lady Becca.
All right, David, thank you so much. We say a very big thank you to Amanano Rural Bank PLC Limited, which offers commercial, salary, auto access finance, personal, group, SME, Bonanza, Agric, and Nkoswo microfinance loans. Beyond loans, they also provide comprehensive banking services such as fixed deposits, current savings accounts, Nkoswo microfinance, and Enidaso Susu savings. Amanano Rural Bank also facilitates both local and international money transfers. You can locate our head office at Nginahini opposite the lorry station and other branches at Mrum, Esreso, Ebuakwata for BBNE and Asafo Markets near the VVIP bus terminal. Amanano Rural Bank, service beyond expectation.
We also like to say thank you to Zwan. They are introducing the Zwan luncheon meat, which I'm holding in my hand right now, cocktail sausages, and also hot dogs. Now, it is your secret to delicious and energetic meals. It is perfect for spaghetti, noodles, salad, burgers, jollof, sandwich, and so much more. Zwan products offer both taste and nutrition. Choose from our chicken, beef, turkey, hot and spicy flavors. You can find Zwan products at Kedetia Dubai Market, Dr. Mensa, Adum, and all supermarkets nationwide. Get Zwan today and enjoy its wonderful taste.
Now, for high quality, customized, elegant, and affordable wedding, engagement, or promise rings, visit St. Ben's Jewelry. They offer a wide selection of white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, and silver rings, along with earrings, bracelets, watches, and other accessories. Additionally, they provide polishing services for all ornaments and offer special flexible payment options for couples. Locate us at Amakom opposite Edward Nazar and Adum Chelsea House opposite Standard Chartered Bank. St. Ben Jewelry, just dream it and it will be done.
I'm taking you to Daxel Dental Clinic, where you get a 10% off a wide range of specialist dental services, including extractions, cleaning, polishing, filling, braces for straightening, bad breath treatment, and also modern digital x-rays for accurate diagnosis. Daxel Dental Clinic works even on Sundays from 12 noon to 4 p.m. Find us at IPT opposite the first gate of Amstead, and Macomb inside the City Style building, and Ahoju opposite Latest Foam. Daxel Dental, we say smile with confidence.
A big thank you to Dunamis Plast, which provides quality, affordable, and fire-resistant doors for homes, offices, schools, and institutions. Their selection include interior and exterior security, bulletproof PVC interior, and waterproof doors. All wooden doors come with complete frames, panels, and accessories. You can visit us today at Ahojo Atinga Junction off the Lameta Road, Tanoso, opposite the Catholic Church, and Boho, close to the Cars Quarry Factory. Dunamis Plast, we give you real value for your money.
Ochiasika Royal Bank, your savior in royal banking, is also operating current, savings, fixed deposits, Susu, and infant savings accounts for you. We also give fast-track funeral, group, business, and agri loans with the lowest interest rate ever. Receive your international and local money transfers from us. You can find our branches at Kofiase, Asante Mampon, Ejira, Sepebuo Krum, Abofo, Macro, Swami Market, and Kenkenso, and also Dr. Mensa. And finally, we'd like to say thank you to Ultimate Fashion as well.
That's it for now, David. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Patricia, and of course, Becca. A round of applause for them. So today is the second day of the 2025 edition of the Love FM High School Debate, and trust me, this is the biggest debate platform you can ever find here in Ghana. Today we will be having contest 3 and contest 4. The contest 3 will be between KNUST Senior High and, of course, Presby Bompata Senior High School. Marinima. Dancer Paul. All right. Eddie Count 4. Eddie Count 4. Eddie Count 4. In a bit, their debaters will be mounting the podium, will be grabbing the microphones, and of course will set the ball rolling by debating. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, please let me introduce to you the ambassador for the Love FM High School Debate. She also doubles as the chairperson for the Love FM High School Debate. A round of applause for Mrs. Teresa Jackson of the Jackson University College. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time. Now, let me also introduce to you a very fine gentleman who is with us this year. His job is quite simple. He's supposed to assist and help all the debaters when they are debating. So when you're halfway through your time when you're debating, he would alert you by doing this. And when your time is entirely up, he would do this for you. Okay, now that is very critical, very essential, because when you hear that last bell And as a debater, you continue to debate, something will happen. Our lead judge will tell you about that shortly. Now, talking about our lead judge, let me take this opportunity to introduce to you our panel of judges for the afternoon. She's the only female amongst us this afternoon in terms of the judges. Her name is Dr. Mrs. Lucy Bonku. Now, I love to call her Mama Lou. If you don't mind, help me say Mama Lou. Yeah, that's Mama Lou there for you. Now, she's a senior lecturer at the Kumasi Technical University, and she's been teaching English for several years. Over 25 years, she's been teaching English. She's with the Departments of English and Communication Skills. She has, like I said, over 30 years of experience in teaching. One more time, show her some love by putting your hands together for Dr. Mrs. Lucy Bonku. We also have our guest judge with us this afternoon. He is a political sociologist. He is an associate professor of governance and development studies. He is a professor, and he is currently the 7th rector of the Valley View University Kumasi campus. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love to Professor Martin Kujo Akote. Thanks very much, Prof, for your time with us this afternoon. Our lead judge, he is the empiricism man. He is Dr. Peter Arthur. Now, he is our lead judge, and we're glad to have him with us this afternoon. Now, he's a former head of English department and former head of the language department, KNUST. He's also here this afternoon as our lead judge, and he will be sharing a few words with us. Now, his job for now is to run us through how they'll be scoring the debaters. He'll also tell you what they'll be looking out for by way of rules of engagement. So this is what I want you all to do for me. Listen attentively to him. Because some of the times when they've finished their job as judges and have scored, people sit back and like, oh, my debater spoke very well. He was very affluent and all that. But we lost. Maybe a few things went against the debater or debaters, and that's how come you could not make it to the next stage of the competition. So to the debaters, one of the key things, advice I'll give you is this. Once you mount the podium and grab the microphone and you want to speak, make sure that you are heard. You are very audible. So put the microphone close enough to your mouth and speak very, very well. So at this point in time, I'd like to, welcome our lead judge, Dr. Peter Arthur, to run us through the rules of engagement and also how they'll be scoring. If you don't mind, please welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Madam Chair, with your permission, I will present the scoring and then the rules of engagement. Yes, we have 5 parameters for the scoring. And that's organization and clarity, argument and development, effective use of rebuttal, presentation style, role as a particular debater. Then with the organization and clarity, we are talking about the way you organize yourself generally, the way you introduce yourself, the way you continue to develop your points, and the way you conclude. For the first speaker, we have 15 marks for you. For the second speaker, 10 marks for you. For the summary, we have 5 marks. Then we go to argument and development. Here we are talking about, we usually talk about the external structure of the argument. In fact, the coaches know what we are talking about, so they've informed you. And then we are talking about the internal structure of the argument. For the internal, we are more interested in the way you state your point. And it's not just any point. It should be a researched point. And then the way we're able to explain what the point stands for and then how you support whatever that you are saying with evidence, with proof, or whatever that you think is available that will make people understand what you are saying. Now, for the first speaker, you are also taking 15. The second speaker is taking 10. And for the summary, it's supposed to be 5. Effective use of rebuttal. This is very important because when you are organizing with clarity, we say you are thinking good. When you are developing your arguments, we say you are thinking right. But when you have to rebut, then you are thinking smart. Of course, that's the hallmark of this exercise, to think smart. Because we are bringing up students who in future are not only going to think good, not only going to think right, but they are going to think smart. Because that is where we have creativity and that is where we have productivity. So, you listen to somebody speaking. That one has nothing to do with your teacher. You will have to note down and then make sure that what he is saying makes sense, or what he is saying doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it is your duty to prove it to us that it doesn't make sense. And you will have to go through the full hawk to make sure that we understand what you are saying. And for the first speaker, we expect that even though nobody has come up, you will do some preemptive rebuttal. So we have 5 marks for there. And then the second speaker has every opportunity to rebut. So we have 10 marks there. And then the summary, we have 5 marks there. You can still rebut. Presentational style. Of course, we are talking about your body language, how you engage your audience, which is very, very necessary. And here we are talking about language as well. Please, when you come, make sure that you pronounce words well. D-E-B-T. It's depth. It's not depth. No, avoid such mispronunciations. And then you have to make use of the flow and all that. Don't forget about the way you use your arms, you use your eye, use your movements and all that. The first speaker is taking 5 marks. The second is taking 3. And the summary is 2. Role as a debater, it's simple. If you are the first debater, it should be the first debater. Powerful, effective, straightforward. You understand that? You have all the universality with you. You carry everything with you. The supporting speaker is just the supporting speaker. He or she comes to support you. And for the first speaker, we have 5 marks for that. And then the second speaker is having 3. And then the summary is 2. Now let's go to the rules of engagement. The principal speaker on the affirmative team presents argument in support of the motion. And you have 10 minutes for that. And then the principal speaker on the opposing team presents argument opposing the resolution. You also have 10 minutes for that. The second speaker on the affirmative team presents further argument in support of resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the opposition team. This time, you have 7 minutes for that. And then the second speaker on the opposing team presents further arguments against the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the previous affirmative speaker. Again, 7 minutes. Then the principal speaker on the affirmative team comes with closing statement to their argument without adding any new information. Watch that. Without adding any new information. And also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if there is any. And you have 5 minutes for that. Then the principal speaker on the opposing team comes with closing statements to their arguments without adding any new information. And also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttal if any. That also, you have 5 minutes for that. Note this. Speakers must be very audible in their presentation. And I'll add, speakers must be very audible in their pronunciation. Articulation is very important. And for your advice, speakers, please take the microphone close to your mouth. All right? And then there cannot be any interruption. Speakers must always wait for their turn. Principal speakers must raise only 5 points or less. And supporting speakers must raise only 3 points or less. Now we have other external rules for you. Now, when I say he who asserts, you say must prove. See, that is the game. And that is what David means by empiricism. You come here to prove what you are saying. You don't just come here and say things and go away. So he who asserts, no, I didn't hear you well, must prove. He who asserts, wonderful. In order to establish an assertion, the team must support it with enough facts and evidence. Facts and evidence must be accurate. Examples or visual materials are permissible, and once introduced, they become available for the opponent's use if desired. Tangible evidence must be tendered as exhibits for fact support. Now, in rebuttals, the debater rebutting may ask any constructive and clear question that has a direct bearing on the point raised. The one rebutting must confine him or herself to question and not to make statements, comments, or ask rhetorical questions. Supporters from both sides are to exercise discipline, not to induce, intimidate, or frustrate debaters in any form. Failure would attract deduction of marks from their scores. Debaters must respect time. If you are bailed out, you must end your presentation, else you lose some marks. In case of a tie, the two schools involved will be given a motion to debate within 2 days, that is within 48 hours. Now note this, especially the coaches. All issues must be addressed to the producer of the event. And at this stage, I would like you to look back. There's a gentleman in dark blue, he's raised the hand. Yes, he's waving. Good. He is the person responsible for any complaint. And then at the 116 stage, motions will be given to school 2 days to their contest. Madam Chairperson, I think I've finished my business. Over to you, Dave.
Well, these days you're trying to avoid the word "I'm done." It's all good. You can do it better for our lead judge, Dr. Peter Arthur. Now, at this point in time, I'd like to say to all of you watching us on television that, listen, if you know of a friend or a relation who's not already hooked onto the television, send a text message to the person and say, listen, the Love FM High School debate, the third contest in the second day is about to begin. If you're watching us on Facebook on Love 99.5, drop comments there. Tell us which school you think is going to win. Tell us which debater is impressing you and all that. Now, the debaters will be mounted at the podium and will be debating. They might have done their, they have done their own research works and have come up with their presentation. Now, if you're an individual out there and your name is mentioned, or you belong to an institution and your name is mentioned, it's not us who said they should come and run you down. No. They've done their research and they are using you as part of the debate. So please have that at the back of your mind. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to begin the competition. But we cannot do this without asking the schools to sing for us their school anthem. So because KNUST, you are for the motion, please stand. Imagine Nyansapo. All right, so you will be singing your school anthem in a bit. And I can see Jupiter available and ready to assist you so we can hear you very well whilst you sing for us your school anthem. And I say this to each and every student that I meet, or students or the schools. Sing with pride and sing with joy and sing with all the energy you can muster. This energizes your debaters so that when they mount the podium, they know that you are out there or sitting here in support of them. Are you ready? Yes. No. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. For the last time, are you ready? Yes. So if you're ready to sing for us your school anthem on 3. 1, 2, go.
Forward be our watchword, steps and voices joined. Seek the things before us, not elude. Bends the fairy pillar at our army's head. Who shall dream of shrinking by Jehovah led? Forward through the desert, through our toils and fight. Jordan flows before us, Zion beams with light. Jordan flows before us, Zion beams with light.
I must say, I love your lead singer. She did very, very well. Clap your hands for that lead singer. She did very, very well. Manwinima. Nyansapo. With a round of applause, welcome your debaters. Enesina Ozusetre and Augustina Abugri. Where are they? Make some noise. Show them some love. That's the spirit. And that's what I'm talking about. Oh, Charlie, keep clapping for them before they sit down. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Is the seat comfortable? It is. Good to know. Eddie count 4. Eddie count 4. Eddie count 4. All right, so those are students from Presby SHS Bompata. It's your turn to stand and sing for us your school anthem. So please, stand. And I'm told that you have an anthem that you made available to Uncle Collins. Uncle Collins, are we ready? He says we are. So also, sing with pride and joy your school anthem. And let your debaters know that you are rallying behind them. Are you ready to sing? Are you sure you're ready to sing? Then on 3, 1, 2, 3. That was the school anthem of Presby Senior High School Bompata. Eddie count 4. Put your hands together for your debaters as we welcome them. Principal speaker is Abdul Muksid Justice Mustafa Isa, supported by Benedicta Bediako Akote. Where are they? Thank you very much. You are such a wonderful audience. Thank you. The motion is the concept of the free market in Ghana should be re-examined. The concept of the free market in Ghana should be re-examined. KNUST, they are for the motion. Presby SHS Bompata, they are against the motion. Madam Chairperson, with your permission, can we start? She's giving her blessing. Accurate timekeeper, are you set? He says he is. Panel of judges, are you ready? They say they are. Now, debaters, are you equally ready? They say they are. The audience, are you ready? Then for the last time, put your hands together, make some noise. Welcome them. Because it's now the turn of the principal speaker for KNUST to set the ball rolling. Ernestina Owusu-Setre is the principal speaker, and she's more than ready to start the debate. Over to you, Ernestina.
The ever-wise chair, impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeeper. co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Born from the land of gold and raised from the land of wisdom, I am Owusu Sechere Echa Ernestina, the principal speaker representing KNUST Senior High School, ready to address this house in favor of the motion. Quote, the concept of free markets in Ghana should be re-examined. Unquote. The chair, before I commence my arguments, please permit me to decipher some key terms in the motion for the benefit of everyone. The US, the UK, Germany, Singapore, Taiwan, and even our own South Africa, Botswana, and many others. For the records, pure free market economies are extremely rare, as the government nearly always has a hand in some aspects of the economy, which includes offering subsidies to struggling industries, capping utility prices, offering public goods in areas such as roads, military defense, healthcare, and education. In reality, as the concept has been explained, Ghana cannot be said to be practicing an entirely free market, since we have many sectors of our economy where the hand of the government can be clearly seen. Examples of such areas include education, healthcare delivery, transport, and most of governmental institutions and organizations that provide for the common good. In effect, just like many other countries, it would be fair to say Ghana is practicing a mixed economy. The chair, ladies and gentlemen, proponents of free markets may boast of benefits which include freedom of choice, limited government control, competition, incentive for hard work, private property owning, among others. How my supporting speaker and I wished these were the realities in this country. We would have comfortably thrown in the towel, but unfortunately, this is not. The concept of free market as it is now is a disaster. Hence, my supporting speaker and I submit that it is disaster. Hence, my supporting speaker and I submit that it needs an urgent re-examination for the sake of you and I, our future, the sake of you and I, our destinies, and the generation yet unborn. Our arguments will diagnose sector by sector of our economy this so-called free market practice in Ghana and why it needs to be re-examined. Point 1. There is reckless hike in prices of goods and services and merciless profiteering. This is clearly seen all over in the country where there's supply and demand. The chair, this problem has become unavoidable and insurmountable because of this so-called free market practice in Ghana. Nobody controls anybody, and nobody regulates the activities of producers, importers, wholesalers, and retailers. You and I, our destinies are traded on the altar of selfish gain. In one market, two stores that share the same boundary could sell one product with different prices, ridiculously priced, and you wonder if one is selling a gold version of the other. The chair, partial jury. Let's all kindly watch this video.
Obviously, imports will be cheaper, and we're expecting that prices will start coming down. However, the traders are not obliging. Saturday, I'm a fan. I
went to stock items this Saturday and prices remained the same.
The chair, when the cedi was depreciating against the dollar, you will be in front of a shop and then prices of goods will be increased and you dare not question anybody. Today, this same cedi is appreciating against the dollar as low as 10.23 Ghana cedis to $1. Yet, traders are adamant and unwilling to reduce the prices of their goods, even after countless calls from the Ghana Union of Traders Association for their members to reduce prices. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we get from Ghana's so-called free market. My opponents, if this tragedy does not need re-examination, is there anything else that we need? I leave that.
High Schools Debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation, Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC, and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti, and Chad.
To rescue or defend anybody.
The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest. Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime, 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation, Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC, and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service, Ashanti, and Chad. The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory.
That's not only unthinkable, but ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not an assumption by a small girl from KNUST, but a former health minister, Honorable Ajimai Menu, who says, and I quote, "Stop referring patients to private clinics," unquote, for selfish gains. We tender evidence. My opponents, if this tragedy does not need re-examination, then I think the word itself needs to be re-examined. Point 3. Corruption is another factor that contributes the need to re-examine Ghana's free market. The chair, this demon is in different shapes and forms among highly placed individuals in this country, especially politicians. They hide behind private businesses to collapse government institutions and enterprises so that they can push their selfish and greedy agenda. Some willfully sabotage local initiative and production. And who are we to talk about? The chair, just judges, the open secret is glaring for all of us to see. A classic case is recently SNIT hotels that were believed to be unproductive and useless were ready to be bought by a politician. Fellow students, can you imagine? A useless state asset was now ready to be bought by a state official to make it useful. Indeed, the chair, in the name of free trade, all kinds of fake drugs and poisonous products are flooding our markets. Impartial jury, let's listen to these headlines. In Upper East, expired free SHS mackerel and other products destroyed by FDA, July 2024. In Eastern Region, FDA destroys 2.5 tonnage of unwholesome products, April 2025. Now to you, my opponents, why always destroyed? What were our port officials doing? Only God knows how many goods are in our system destroying us when they should have been disallowed entry in the first place. The chair, please permit me to use this informal language for the benefit of everyone. Edikanfo, Munim Red. It is here with us. How this product is still here in our system, only private men practicing free markets can tell us. Point 4. Free market system has created joblessness, insecurity, and poor conditions of workers. Ghana's free market system makes most workers very vulnerable. Those who are fortunate to get employed in these private-owned businesses could be fired at will. Some of them too, their employers fail to pay their social security contributions and other benefits. In some instances, you dare not, as a worker, ask for better conditions of service. If you do so, you are either tagged discipline or you are fired the next minute. The chair, the house. In this 21st century, we have workers in this country who have families and dependents, yet are paid as low as 250 Ghana cedis. Impartial jury, we tender evidence. From GhanaWeb.com, I quote, "We are paid 250 Ghana cedis a month. Zoom Lion workers protest over 9 months unpaid salary arrears." Unquote. The chair, the house. Is this not dehumanizing? Even a secondary school girl like myself, how much do my parents spend on me in a month? Not to talk of a whole family. The chair, to buttress this, please listen to this story my uncle once told me. When he was then teaching in a certain private school, one of his students in class 4 was bold enough to tell him in the face that, "Sir, my school fees alone can pay your salary for 5 months. Ladies and gentlemen, my uncle says he could not forget that statement his student told me, so he quit teaching entirely. Ladies and gentlemen, I wonder how many of my revered teachers in private schools have more horrible stories to tell, yet they have nobody to open up to. The chair, we need to, as a matter of urgency, re-examine Ghana's free market. Point 5, free market promotes environmental degradation, which causes all manner of health hazards to the citizens. Today in Ghana, our borders have been opened to all manner of foreign nationals and are free to do all kinds of businesses. Foreign dominance of our economy, I rest my case.
Hello. The prices. The concept of the free market is an economic structure whereby the prices of commodities are being determined with the forces of demand and supply. Here, buyers get a chance to choose from various commodities on the market, and sellers, on the other hand, get to showcase their products for sale. Ever since its adoption, Ghana has observed immense intervention, both national integration and global interference. That is why international principles like the Most Favored Nation rules, the General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs, and also Ghana's World Trade Organization membership since 1995 has helped us to promote fair trade, reduce barriers, and protect our market interests. Unless our opponents here come out with principles or ideas that will outperform the already laid out conventional principles of the father of modern economics, Adam Smith, we are not ready to accept any blackened thoughts from their side. Greetings to the standing chair, judges, all persons present. Protocols of the Love FM High School debate duly observed. Proud I am to be called Abdul Mokset Justice Mustafa Issa, representing the best high school in Asante Achim, thus Presbyterian Senior High School, Bompata. The chair, the motion before us is, I quote and unquote, the concept of free market in Ghana should be re-examined, which I rise as the principal speaker against it. Judges, kindly permit me to explain the key terms used in the motion for the better understanding of my lovely audience. Cambridge Dictionary defines concept as a principle or idea. Investopedia defines free market as an economic system based on supply and demand with little or no government intervention. We explain, re-examine as to think again about a system, plan, or idea that needs to be decided whether it should be changed. To chair the House, the motion simply seeks to posit that the free market system in Ghana is not working well. Hence, we should go back and change the whole idea behind it, which we, the Edicam, for rise to oppose. As and when needed, exhibits would be brought in to back our claims. So, the chair, our primary point is that it has proven to be a sound economic trajectory under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Chronologically, the adoption of the free market in Ghana was not a gamble, but it was made through global's best interests and their necessities. In the 80s, Ghana was faced with high inflation and food crisis, where she had to seek help from the IMF and World Bank. It was during Rawlings' regime where we had an economic recovery program, where it had to liberalize trade and also privatize failing industries and also rekindle consumer liberty. It was through this initiative that has made Ghana over the years to become a lower middle income earning country by 2010. And also it is through which Ghana is able to achieve all its regional ambitions. According to the World Bank, it says that the AFCFTA has the potential to boost Africa's economy, that's the income, up to a $450 billion, lifting 30 million people out of extreme poverty. Even combined with institutional reform, it's able to increase the GDP per capita head of most Ghanaians by $659 by 2043. Hosting the AFCA Secretariat in Ghana, it guarantees both continental strat and strategic foresight. Some people, like my opponents here, will argue that has the system been delivering? I ask instead, where will Ghana be without the free market? A system that served as an engine which lifted Ghana from collapse has now become our continental flagship. My opponents, we shouldn't see it as a failure. The House, in economics and in real life, we don't change a winning team. Point two, it enables generational wealth creation. Dr. Peter Arthur, it is wise enough that a system that will be able to enable families to promote long-lasting wealth is more powerful than a system that gives out temporary jobs. That in a state-controlled sector, civil servants means that a job which is lost at retirement, but in private sectors, the businesses outlives its founders. Here in Ghana, by statistics, 90% of our private sectors are being owned by family, contributing 70% to our GDP and also employing 80% of our working forces. The House, it is true, because ever since Ghana has brought in about the free market system, it has helped us in many ways. The question here is, can a civil servant pass down his job to his children? Certainly not. According to a Ghanaian proverb, it says, a child does not inherit his father's begging bowl, but rather his farmland, meaning free market system can live out its founders to the next generation. Some people argue that it deepens inequalities, but distraction is not the answer, but robust legal laws are. According to Nobel laureate Douglas North, he says institutions institutions are the very fruits that protect our economic activities. And in Ghana, these fruits are institutions. They are generational assets, not just wages. By re-examining the free market, we don't just strengthen today's bread, but tomorrow's bakery. Point 3, it is an indispensable engine for Ghana's infrastructure development. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana's state government cannot solely provide the needed capital to embark on infrastructure development. Judges and teachers present, let us take our mind back to 2013, where John Mahama made a claim in the State of the Nation address, saying that the meat is now down to the bone, to the extent that the government has little to now undertake infrastructures like roads, bridges, schools, and hospitals. The chair, free market here does not compete, but it rather completes where the government ended. Through public-private partnership, Ghana over the years has been able to generate a revenue of a whopping $2.74 billion in active cooperation, and also $23.4 billion in the pipeline, which was registered by the Ministry of Finance. The House. Some people say that the public-private partnerships are corruptible, but that's not true. Here in Ghana, Ghana's Public-Private Partnership Act 2020 says that these systems are transparent and accountable. Point 4, it promotes consumer sovereignty and competitive pricing. The House, Madam Lucy, if a man cannot get the chance to buy what he wants, then what freedom does he have? In the words of Milton Friedman, he says, quote unquote, underlying the argument against free market is the lack of freedom itself. The chair, it is because of the free market today Ghanaian consumers can now vary prices, switch consumers, demand quality, and even boycott inefficiency. This is sovereignty when the consumer, not the government, dictates value, and this has proved positively to our economy. Some people of the view that all this is just a menace, but that's not true. Even history can affirm that when our sectors like the data was high, it was competition, not demand, that made such services come down to their knees to bring out affordable service and bundles for our consumption. So the free market does not endanger us, but rather it helps with the consumer voices to shape the market. If you don't want this, my opponents, then what do you want? Lastly, the free market helps us to build a resilient private sector. The House, many of the merits of the free market, there are many of it, but the most vital one is its ability to build and sustain a resilient private sector. The House, let us take a look at the farmers in the north, the traders in Makola, or even the artisans across Ghana. What gives this full life, space, and freedom to operate? It is the free market system. According to Ghana Statistical Service 2023, the free market system has helped to give out jobs to 90% of the working population and also contribute 70% to GDP. The government alone cannot absorb all the labor in country Ghana. That is why the former finance minister, Ken Oforiatta, says that the coming youth, like myself here and my opponent, must now venture into entrepreneurship since the government's payroll is through. For better argument, there was a recent strike which happened because of Ghana's Registered Nurses and Midwives Association because they could not have better qualities to their service. The House, let's watch this video.
It's very, very frank with you, sir. As I speak to you now, my friend, the leaders are not available even in the country.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, I didn't want to say this. Today, I have called personally, beyond all legality, so, I have to worry anything and reach out. They're not in the country as I speak to you now.
Oh.
The House, if it wasn't for the free market that empowered people to open and operate efficient and quality private sectors, what would the 35 million of Ghana rely on if our nation's nurses are on strike? This is why the free market system should not be examined. Ernestina made an assertion that the free market brings about environmental degradation. Well, this is just a total fallacy. Because with the free market has been partnered with green incentives. Many Ghanaian businesses already combine profit with eco-friendly approaches. Again, she made an assertion that it brings about corruption. Ernestina, please, corruption is not a born of free market. Corruption exists both in the free market and also the socialist states, just like Russia and China. Hence, they do not re-examine. Corruption is just a little factor that hinders every operation system in Ghana. That is why re-examination will create an uncertainty that will delay growth. Protectionism delays growth, but rather competition promotes growth. She also made an assertion that it makes workers vulnerable. My opponent, have you ever heard of private workers going on a strike? No. It is only government workers where time to time you will see them going on strike, where it's heading what our productivity forces. The free market makes sure that every worker under its system. Thank you.
The ever-wise chair, impartial jury, worthy opponents, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Representing the land of Majima, KNUST SHS, I am Abugri Augustina Malbo, the supporting speaker for the motion. Quote, the concept of the free market in Ghana should be re-examined, unquote. The chair, the house, as my attention-calling principal speaker has already shed light on the key terms in the motion, permit me to concur with my salient points. Point 6, the chair. Free market leads to a collapse of local industries and enterprises. Practicing this system is like throwing caution into the wind. Create a society for the survival of the fittest, and in no time, the weak are consumed. Unfortunately, this is where Ghana finds itself now. Ghana's wholesale and retail markets, Lebanese, Nigerians, and so many others, have flooded our markets and have taken the law-abiding citizens out of their jobs. Edikanfo, these are not mere allegations. The house, from the horse's own mouth, the president of Guta.
Now, the local traders are selling higher than the Chinese. So we have the China Mall, Chinatown, who have taken over 40% of our market and who are derailing the efforts of local manufacturers. And we do not have the courage to clamp on them.
Edikanfo, if I may ask, where are our textile industries? Where are the Ghanaian-owned manufacturing companies? The chair, the house. If we do not re-examine this trend, trust me, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and all our noble ancestors will be disappointed in us and be crying daily in their graves. Point 7, the chair. Free market leads to monopoly of goods and services. The chair, this is a very worrying situation we are currently facing as people. The sooner we address it, the better for us all. In an ideal situation, one would expect that in a free market system, the government will provide legal, stable framework, enforce contracts, maintain a fair justice system, and protect properties and consumers. Edikanfo, is this what we are experiencing now? Of course not. Edikanfo, let's get interactive. Do you know, Edikanfo, let's get interactive. Do you know that giant companies and businesses that have dominated Ghana's so-called free market systems are currently enjoying undue monopoly, and nobody dares question them? Do you know why? Because who holds the money holds the power. A classic case scenario is what MTN Ghana is doing to Ghanaians. The chair from GhanaWeb.com, and I quote, outrage on social media over MTN data price increments, unquote. Edikanfo, this outrage is heard and seen loud and clear by everybody, including the prominent Professor Ade, who says, and I quote, MTN will hold Ghana ransom one day if left unchecked, unquote. The chair, monopoly leads to extortion and excessive billing by business owners. Today, you buy MTN data, the next minute it's gone like it never existed. And if we do not re-examine this trend, trust me, we are going to suffer for it. Point 8, the chair. Ghana's free market creates all avenue for all manner of indiscipline, impunity, and malfunctioning in our economy. The chair, these vices are seen in all sectors. For example, it is very common to find a trotro mate and a passenger fighting over the prices of fares. The house, let's have a look at this video.
Just the tense moment, a group of angry passengers physically confronted and assaulted the trotro mate, who reportedly refused to implement the recent 15% fare reduction announced by the...
Edikanfo, this is what you get when you leave the destiny of a nation in the hands of selfish individuals with their private gain. The chair, in our educational system, the situation is even worse. Today, we have numerous private schools numerous private SHS who claim to have the magic of making students with poor academic records get 8As in their WASSCs. People who have registered in some government schools soon leave to register in these private schools who claim to magically produce 8As for them. Edikanfo, guess what? Lo and behold, they get these good grades without even attending a single class session. The chair, you'd be amazed by the kind of network that operates in these institutions to ensure that the students cheat to get grades they never work hard for. It is a network chain of some WASI officials, invigilators, examiners, functionaries, and so many more who scheme their way so beautifully to ensure that the students pass their exams for the survival of their institutions. The few professional ones are assaulted because their actions are seen as sabotage to these senior high schools. From GhanaWeb.com, and I quote, "Police arrest Bright Senior High School proprietor for instigating attack on WASI invigilators." The house, if I am to go into the impunities and lawlessness in our markets, hospitals, workplaces, and other institutions, trust me, I will not finish. But if we do not re-examine our free market system, how else are we going to be saved? The chair, the house, rebuttals. Justice, in your point 2, you claim that a free market is an engine for infrastructure development, such as roads. But I'm coming from the north, where roads are very bad and terrible, and government schools are in poor conditions. Oh, shall I say, a death trap. You also stated that corruption is everywhere, even in government and private sectors. But trust me, but let me tell you something. Tell you that the backdoors deals with monopolies in Ghana. The backdoors deals and monopolies in Ghana, so-called free markets, less government interference shouldn't mean more corrupt mischief. The chair, the house, I bow.
When a seed begins to sprout, do we dig it up to see whether it is going right? No. Re-examining it now risks uprooting progress before it bears full fruit. Good afternoon to you, the Exquisite Chair, wise and impartial panel of jury, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. I am Bediako Elegant Benedicta, representing the prestigious land, Presby Senior High School, Bompata. The chair, the motion before this August House is, I quote and unquote, the concept of the free market system in Ghana should be re-examined. And I rise strongly as the supporting speaker to speak against the motion. The chair, as my gallant principal speaker, has already laid down the evidential basis of our argument. Kindly permit me to add more to what was said by him to raise counter-arguments against my opponents. Point 6, the chair, the free market system has proven its adaptability and relevance in times of crisis. During the COVID-19, when public health sectors slowed down, it was the private sectors that stepped in. Companies such as the Zipline delivered medical supplies via drones. Mobile money platforms such as the Momo reduced cash dependence, whereas the Ghana e-commerce platforms also boomed. The chair, the house, Professor Peter Korte of the Institute of Statistical, Economic and Social Research, that is the ISSER, stated that, I quote and unquote, Ghana's private sector resilience during the pandemic was extraordinary. What a beautiful remark. My opponents here may say that the state also played a role. Yes, you are right, but that role was mainly regulatory and fiscal. Execution properly, it came from the market players. Deductively, if private market players played, or if private markets were agile under stress, whilst the public sectors were also bureaucratic, then weakening market risks dulling our emergency response. So now, should we re-examine a system that has saved us in our toughest times? No. That would be like removing an engine from a plane mid-flight, or because turbulence hits. Please, let us not disturb or destabilize a system that has saved us. Point 7, the chair, the call to re-examine the free market system opens dangerous doors to state interference and elite capture. The chair, Ghana's history before liberalization was filled with inefficiency and politicized control. The chair, state-owned industries like the Jayhawk, Ghana Airways, and the Insawam Cannery were all they all collapsed due to mismanagement and the lack of competition. Ghana's Frederick Hayek once said, "The curious task of economics is to demonstrate to men how little they really know about what they imagine they can design. Re-examination is the very first step to overreach." The chair, the House, inductively, if past political control led to inefficiency and collapse, then inviting new political thinking could also drag us backwards. My opponents may argue for a smarter market, but yes, who defines what smart is? Is it our bureaucrats or the politicians? No, we say no. The chair, Ghana's Dankwa Busia tradition, they defended economic liberty for a reason, and that is why reforms must be technical and not ideological. The free market system may not be perfect or right, but then it is transparent, one, it is harder to manipulate, two, and it is also rules-based. The evidence is clear. The ECG and the ADB suffered losses due to political appointment and interference. Even the Cocoa Board, they even marked their crisis in 2023 by suspending in debt payments. The chair, the House, if the free market shielded other sectors from such a decay, why then should we fix something that is not yet broken? The chair, point 8. The concept of the free market system promotes innovation and creativity. Philosopher John Stuart Mill once argued, I quote and unquote, "Originality is the one thing which unoriginal minds cannot feel the use of. The free market by design encourages competition, whereas competition encourages innovation." The chair, it rewards new ideas, it also punishes complacency, and it also fuels the national development. So if this is a system that births progress, why then should Ghana rush to examine or re-examine this state? The chair, as Frederick Hayek once warned, the more, I quote and unquote, the more the state plans, the more difficult planning becomes for the individuals. This, in other words, means that if the state tamper with the free market, tampering with the free market, it undermines the very discovery process through which the states or the societies solve their own problems. And Ghana's own evidence speaks volume. The rise of the financial tech, such as the ZPay, the Haptel, and also the agri-tech innovations like the Farmer Line, are all innovations that came through freedom and not control. So we must remember that a saying that goes that a river that forgets its source will definitely dry up. The chair, the House, let us protect the free market. That is the source of Ghana's creativity and growth. The chair, the House, my opponents made an assertion that the concept of the free market system in Ghana should be re-examined because it gives reckless hype in goods and services. This is not true, the chair. The existence of inferior goods is not as a result of free market system, but rather it is a canker caused by the greed and the manipulation from some sellers. My opponents also made an assertion that it leads to the collapse of local industries. That is a total fallacy, the chair. You know, free market system, they create a cycle of competition in the market, and competition is healthy for the business progress and survival, as we all know. As more sellers come to showcase their goods, it is likely to create innovation and technical expertise. The chair, my opponent also made an assertion that it creates exploitation for innocent consumers. Thank you.
The ever-wise chair, adjudication panel, all protocols duly observed. I mount this podium once again to summarize the cogent and irrefutable points raised by my supporting speaker and I in favor of the motion. Quote, the concept of free market in Ghana should be re-examined. Unquote. Point 1, there is reckless hike in prices of goods and services, and merciless profiteering. Point 2, Ghana's free market creates avenues for exploitation of innocent consumers. Point 3, corruption is another factor that contributes the need to re-examine Ghana's free market. Point 4, free market system has created joblessness, insecurity, and poor conditions of workers. Point 5, free market system promotes environmental degradation, which causes all manner of health hazards to the citizens. Point 6, free market leads to a collapse of local industries and enterprises. Point 7, free market leads to monopoly of goods and services. Point 8, Ghana's free market creates avenues for all manner of indiscipline, impunity, and malfunctioning in our economy. The Chair, the House, rebuttals. Justice, you said I made an assertion that environmental degradation is a factor that contributes the need to re-examine Ghana's free market. It is actually true because foreign dominance of our economy has caused many Chinese to take over our economy. They have timber concessions. Some have mining sites. So as we speak, we are all endangered species because our natural reserves are virtually gone. Galamsey has destroyed our forests. Our water bodies are now waterlogged, all thanks to free markets. And the supporting speaker for the motion from Bompata, against the motion from Bompata Preseg, made an assertion that the corruption is on both sides of the economy, both the free market and the government's controls aspects. If it is on both sides of the economy, it clearly shows that it needs re-examination. For something to become perfect, it needs a perfect re-examination. You also said that free market system has proven adaptability in terms of crisis. Oh yes, that's why prices are risen to the extent that affording a suitcase to the boarding house is even a problem. You also said that re-examining Ghana's free market is like removing an engine from a plane. But my question is, if an engine is malfunctioning, do you leave it like that? I leave that to your conscience. You also said that although free market is not perfect, all right. It's not perfect, that's why it needs re-examination. You also said it promotes innovation and creativity. What is the point of innovation if it doesn't solve real problems for real people? My opponent's so-called innovation that leaves the majority behind isn't progress, it is a warning sign. You also said that the reckless hike in prices of goods and services is not a factor that contributes the need to re-examine Ghana's free market. Why is it that the city is appreciating, yet prices of goods are still high? I leave that also to your conscience. The Chair, the House, per the irrefutable points I have raised, I know by now no amounts of the sweet sugar-coated words from my opponent's diabolic voices will make this House discombobulated. I rest my case.
Hello. Coming back boldly as the principal speaker to give a decent summary of what my subordinate speaker and I argue about and to have the last bite in this cake. Our stances for argument are as follows. 1, it has proven to be a sound economic trajectory under the African Continental Free Trade Area. 2, it enables generational wealth creation. 3, it is an indispensable engine of Ghana's infrastructure development. 4, it promotes consumer sovereignty and competitive pricing. 5, it builds a resilient private sector. 6, the free market has proven its adaptability and relevance in times of crisis. 7, the call to re-examine the free market opens dangerous doors to state interference and elite capture. And lastly, 8, the concept of free market promotes innovation and creativity. Our opponents made an assertion that it brings about monopoly power. My opponents here are a bit confused. It is rather the command economy that do not consider societal interests and thus shared monopoly power on consumers. The free market rather offers the buyer liberty to select from available items. They also did make a point that it creates exploitation for innocent consumers. Well, this is overgeneralization because the Chair, the free market has nothing to do with the risk of exploitation, neither on the part of the environment or consumers. The reason being that a company overseas can market its products in Ghana through electronic means. Does it have a toll on the environment? No. With regards to consumer exploitation, you have the liberty to choose what you want under free market economic system. They did also say that now with a free economy, we have death roads which are killing lives. Well, that was made possible way back before. But now, the free economy has made it possible for initiatives like the expansion of Tema motorway to be done. So my opponents, before you come up here and throw dust into the opposing team, which is us, try to make better research. Again, you did say that if the engine is being malfunctioned, should we leave it in the air? My opponents, would you want to risk millions of lives on the plane just because you have seen the engine malfunction? Let me tell you, North Africa faced some troubles with our free market, but it was through smart policies which was put in place, which was helped to curb the system. Again, it says that it promotes all manner of indiscipline. Well, the manner of discipline among the free market is not contributed or attributed to its factor, but let me make this clear. In the definition, we say that the free market is an economic system based on demand and supply with minimum or no government control. It is the government that has made all these illegal substances come into place. The free market system is a flawless factor. It is all those who are acting in it that makes all these illegal systems come into being. Again, they did say that for the free market system, prices are high. Well, the government in Ghana, we do have something called the rule of law, where the government puts in measures to regulate prices. This alone will control the prices of most monopolistic people in the market, hence reducing prices. That is why under the free market, consumers have the right to vary prices. So if I go to town A with a high price, I still have the power and freedom to go to a town B for a product with a less price. It's all about smart thinking and not just impulsive manner. Let me tell you, protectionism deters growth, but competition from the free market encourages the economy to move further. Let us not re-examine the system, because international countries like Kenya, North Africa, and the likes are all encouraging in the free market system and is helping them benefitly. Let us not let our opponents throw dust in our eyes to let us divert from the ways which was attributed to many African countries in our continent. The chair the house. With all this, my submissions are cleared. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen watching us at home, in your offices, or wherever you're watching us from on television, on Joy Prime, and of course Joy Learning, we salute you. To those of you watching us on Facebook, I hope that has been worth your while. I also hope that you have sent or dropped comments on our Facebook page. And also to those of you listening to us on radio on Love 99.5, we say thank you very much. Let's acknowledge all of them with a round of applause, please. Contest 3 and the 2025 edition of the Love FM High School Debate has ended. Imagine Nyansapo. Eddie Campo. Eddie Campo. Well, your results are being put together. In a bit, we'll tell you how you fared. But I just want to say a few things. How come you know his name is Justice and you couldn't tell that it's not going to influence their justice in any way? I just want to know, whether, let me just leave it at that. But you know what? Put your hands together for these debaters. They've given a very, very good account of themselves. And at this point in time, we say a big thank you to all of you. And you would exit. You'll be exiting. Kumasi or KNUST, you exit from here? All right, so we'll go for a break then. Let's go for a break. To all of you watching us on television, the second competition coming up your way shortly will be between Kumasi Girls Senior High School and of